Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Again, we ask, is it possible that this could be a voice from beyond the veil? And is it just a voice? Some of you realize that there is more here than just audio. We have talked about the third language. And now some of you are being alerted to a multidimensional reality. So could it be that there is more to this message? The third language is not a language at all, but it has information in it. The three of the third means that it is a catalytic language. The catalyst makes something else happen. So as I deliver this message to you in what appears to be 3 dimensions, energy moves into the room that you cannot see, but that you can feel. Indeed, it represents that which is the love of the Creator for you. When you're not here, you're with us. You started with us. You belong with us. You are part of that which is the Creator. And although none of you actually can believe it, you were here when the earth was formed. Here, meaning with me. Therefore, we work earth together. Therefore, I am part of a support group, and you are never alone. The winds of shift are here, and we wish to congratulate you for coming to this point. As already mentioned one time, what did you think when the Soviet Union fell over? For this was never in the prophecy, not in the 3D prophecy. And when other things began to happen, what did you think? And so we give you a message here that we have given in other languages already. We want it to be heard in yours. One of the largest languages on earth. Why wait for it to be translated later? Let us deliver it now. Indeed, there is change coming. And it is change you have expected, that you have waited for. And with this change comes what we will call recalibration. Recalibration of the earth. That is the movement that you feel. It is what Gaia responds to. The movement and recalibration of human DNA. And then the recalibration of consciousness. And so let me tell you just a little of what that means right now. 2012 is a marker. It is a marker of energy change. It always has been. But nothing happens this quickly in the spiritual world. Nothing happens this quickly with Gaia or with consciousness. This is a process which has been going on for approximately 18 to 22 years. The energy started to change that long ago. That's when I came into my partner's life and began the messages. So you might say that the quantum potential was already there. In a quantum energy, there is no time, and yet there is for you. And so what you hear from the other side of the veil are potentials without a clock. When somebody says this or that is going to happen on a certain date, they're guessing. Spirit has no clock. So we describe potentials. The 36-year potential has been described to you as the grand alignment in astronomy. This great alignment or grand alignment is simply a visual alignment. As you look at the center of your galaxy, it lines up with your sun. It is the indication of a 26,000-year cycle that is the wobble of the earth. It is an energetic marker, 36 years wide. 2012 is the middle of the marker, and the 21st of December would be the day of the middle of the marker. And yet even that is not quite accurate. For the wobble is so slow, the marker really is a very wide marker. It really does encompass 36 years. But any way you look at it, you're in the middle of this marker. And the potential has been manifested, and things begin to shift. The prophecies of old have not come true, and will not, and will not. You cannot look around and claim those prophecies as reality when nothing around you is lined up the way they said it would be. It does not serve you to be in fear. An old soul in fear can do nothing but hide. Suit your magnificence to do that. So let us talk about Gaia first. What do you mean? Gaia is recalibrating. Oh, dear ones, this is far greater and grander than you think. Where Gaia adjusts itself and recalibrates itself, specifically the oceans, to provide more life for food for you. I told you of this 22 years ago. Listen to the logic of this and tell me what you think. For I hear the thoughts. I hear the love. I am using the third language. I am speaking to that which is your higher self. It doesn't just listen, it speaks back. We are in an entangled state with one another. All those years ago, 2 decades, in the first communication, I said the weather would shift. I talked about a difference in where the water falls, where there could grow crops that never could before, and where you were used to growing crops, there would be none. That is the water cycle, and now you are in it. I've talked to you about a cooling earth, not a warming earth, and it begins now. I've spoke to you about a cooling ocean, not a warming one, all of those years ago. And here you sit in the very attributes that I spoke of. Now let me ask you this. Did your science tell you this was going to happen? And the answer is no. There was no warning. And when it began, it was misunderstood, and the science called it warming. There was no discussion of the water cycle. There was no telling you that it's a cooling cycle, not a warming one. So as you look back all of that distance, who is it who told you what is actually happening today? And the answer is Spirit, because we saw it in you. And so is it not a fact that the logic of this would say, therefore trust what I say now? Or I describe the next 18 years to you now. Starts with Gaia. Gaia will continue to recalibrate. Part of the calibration cycle is the partial melting of the poles, the redistribution of weight onto the crust of the earth. The calibration then creates earthquakes and volcanoes. It is part of the process of life. You've seen it before. Should not disturb humanity, especially humanity that sees it for what it is, a recalibration. It's a rejuvenation of the life in the ocean. I will say this yet again to you. Have you ever owned that which you call a fish aquarium at home? And some of you have said, yes, that's my specialty. I love the fish, and so I will speak to you. You are very aware that no matter how well you have cared for the water in the aquarium, there comes a time when you have to renew it. The earth is a closed system, and the water has to be renewed. No life process can exist in a cycle forever. It has a lifespan, sometimes as long as 3,000 to 5,000 years, sometimes as short as 1,400. It depends on many things. This change of the life cycle was anticipated 20 years ago, and I told you it was here. You've been told that the reefs are dying and it was your fault. That the temperature was changing and it's your fault. It is not. This is a cycle which has happened before. Look to the rings of the trees and the ice cores to tell you, I am telling you the truth. Life will come back to the ocean. Slowly you will see it repair itself. Gaia is far more responsive than you think. Watch for more fish. It is part of the process. That's Gaia. It is recalibrating for humanity. It sounds esoteric, does it not? And in the next 20 years, it will simply become science, for you'll figure it out. I want you to remember where you heard it. Maybe you'll give more credibility to the messages from within. The human body is recalibrating. It has to. This is not happening overnight. But the old souls on this planet feel it first. For you are carrying the awakening seed. Your change then manifests the next step, which is consciousness. Many of the old souls I speak of are not in a meeting like this. Right now, they're about 19 years old. They're old souls in young bodies, starting to make a difference on the planet. You watch. But let me speak to the old souls in this group, and to the ones that are listening to my voice, who are not in this group. Expect change. The recalibration may not be comfortable. Health-wise, you may not feel like it should. What this means is that you are used to a certain energetic level. And this becomes your measure of how you're doing emotionally. Now you're going to have to change that paradigm for a little while. You're not going to get a lot of sleep. Get used to it. Those of you who are awakened every night, I know who's here, expect to be awakened twice a night. Those of you who are awakened twice a night, expect 3 times. There is a recalibration. It's one of the first times in human history that you recalibrate without death. It has the seeds of what you would call ascension, where the human being can actually change the energy within their DNA while they live here. It's what you expected. It's what you expected. Some of you will catch more colds than you have before. Not all of you, but some. Let me tell you what the common cold is. The common cold will never be cured, for it is necessary for your immune system to calibrate itself on a regular basis. Through a cold, those things which you call the system of immune are strengthened. They adjust. Far more than just having a runny nose. There may be more of that. It's not comfortable. You may not feel that you are altogether 100%. Now, I'm going to ask you to have strength through this. Let the strength come through your consciousness and knowing of these things. If you know what they are, then you're not going to be afraid. If you know what they are, you're not going to ask, why me? What did I do wrong? I'll give you a challenge. Can you hear yourself say these words? Thank you, dear Spirit, for waking me up yet again. For I know why. And I've waited for this. Hundreds of years I've waited for this. And I'll be a little uncomfortable for a while I recalibrate to create peace on earth. How about that? Dear Spirit, thank you for this cold. I feel miserable. And I've waited for this for a long time. It's worth this. These things will correct themselves. I cannot give you a time frame. Every single human being is on a unique path. So there is no generic situation for all. Now, some have been feeling this for the last 5 years. You've been recalibrating for a while. Some have yet to feel it. You're all so different. And that's the extent of it. Not feeling quite all there. Energy levels coming and going. Some of you will feel dizzy once in a while, and now you know why. And overwhelmingly, it is going to be those like those in this room. Old souls who would come and sit and listen, understanding what is happening. Finally, let me give you the good news. You're going to be able to watch conscious shift. If you've been paying attention, you've been watching it for the last 35 years. I spoke earlier through my female partner. Unification. Unification. It's new on the planet. That's not the way the old energy worked, is it? Separation, anger, war. That's the way of the earth, and you know it. It's in your history. It's in your brief history. It's in your ancient history. Even happened here. It's happened everywhere. Well, this is what human beings do. They isolate and they separate. And now you're going to see a shift. You're going to see them unify. You're going to be systems of unification you don't expect. Some of them will seem impossible to you. You're going to see them within your government. Watch for this. It may not be a hero that comes from nowhere. But dear ones, in this country, I guarantee the young people we're going to make a difference. Watch this, for they will fill those leadership places of government slowly. And you're going to see a new Argentina. And the old souls in this room have waited for this. You're going to see it all over South America. And you're going to say, how is it possible? Who would have thought we could unify in these ways? Strength of the continent is going to be immense. You'll be able to negotiate with the world as a continent instead of a country. These are the potentials. I cannot give you a clock. I cannot give you a time. All I can say is this is what we see. 20 years ago, we told you about the weather cycle, and it's here. I'd like to sit in the chair and talk to you in 20 years. And I'd like to ask you, how do you like it so far? It's time for the energy to be complementary to the light worker. Expect things to manifest that you've tried before and failed. If you have a bad habit that you have tried to eliminate and given up, this would be a good time to try it again. Things are going to cooperate. The way the energy has pushed back at you is going to reduce and reduce. Other humans are going to come to you for help because they will see wisdom in you, love in you, the future in you. Expect to live longer than you expect to live. Speak to your cellular structure. Expect consciousness change on this planet. There'll come a day not too far away when your children will read about the earth as it is today. Oh, how barbaric. You are planting the seeds of earth, peace. of a gentle consciousness, of the wise, divine, feminine mother. That is where it's going. Finally, I give you information I have given many times, in the last few months especially. There's a saying that says this: if women ran the world, there would be no war at all, or they would never send a son or a daughter into battle. And those who hear that saying say, oh, how simple, if only it could be that way. And now I'm going to tell you something. There'll come a time on this planet, dear one, where no parent will send a son or a daughter into battle. It will be unacceptable. And you're going to get good at unifying instead of separating. This is the consciousness change we see. Can you see that? Can you feel that? Can you believe that? Watch it start with the young people of the planet. Some things may get worse before they get better. There may be some surprises. This takes time. Perhaps there's a generation before you truly see what I am describing. And most of you will be here. Oh, perhaps not as you look now, but you'll be here. That's what old souls do. And so it is.